Happy Thanksgiving Eve. We are so excited to be here, but we are going to show a episode that we have, Miranda, is actually an episode from past. We had a first
Yes.
incarnation of Citizen McCain, and we actually had like a horrible incident where all the videos were removed off the
Our whole
internet.
entire YouTube channel
And
got wiped off the face of the earth. I didn't know you could delete
yes,
stuff from
and
the internet. Apparently you can.
yeah, and we still like for real when I say no one took accountability for it, I mean like no one knows how it happened or why it happened, but we have a whole bunch of wonderful interviews that we did in a beautiful studio that we want to share with you. So we thought this would be a great opportunity this Thanksgiving Eve to show you one of our favorite Senator Ted Cruz
Yes.
talking about all the fun things he gossiped with us about many things, including his weirdo college roommate and just and Jimmy
His
Kimmel
yes,
and
his
yes,
beef with Jimmy Kimmel, exactly, in their
yes.
basketball game. Yes, exactly.
And other than he's a friend of the show and a friend in real life, not to humble brag, I did just get invited to his Christmas party, which is if I'm
Aw.
not too pregnant, I'm gonna try and go. He is a wonderful man, but there's also reporting everywhere, Axios, Politico, basically over the internet, that he's going to be running for president coming up soon. So
Love
we
that for
think
him.
maybe we should let people get to know this possible presidential candidate a little more. And also this, we just one of our favorite interviews. So we want to share it with you guys. Happy Thanksgiving. Anything else you want to add? I hope you eat lots of turkey and pumpkin pie,
Yes.
Miranda.
Enjoy. This is a great interview. Everyone's gonna love it. It's just it shows his human side that a lot of people don't get to see just because you guys have such a great rapport and he's so funny. And
It's
people
very
don't know
funny.
that about him, how hilarious he is. So please enjoy this interview because we loved it. It's one of our favorites. It was one of the when we were talking about what should we do about Wednesday's show, it was like one of the top things we said is, oh God, we got to play that Ted Cruz thing if we can find it because
Yes.
everything got destroyed. So I'm glad.
Yes.
I'm glad we were able to
Yes.
salvage this. It's good. It's a good
So
one.
yes, we're very excited. And like I said, happy Thanksgiving to you all. And
Happy
without further ado,
Thanksgiving.
we hope you enjoy our interview with Senator Ted Cruz. Welcome back to Meghan McCain has entered the chat with me, Meghan McCain. And in studio, I feel like I kind of have pressured your team to make you come back, Senator. But thank you so much for coming back.
I'm thrilled to be back.
I really love talking to you. I really find you like very fascinating. I don't know. So many politicians I meet. I actually did this podcast with Michael Malice, and he said, "Who is the most fun off camera?" And I said, "You."
Oh,
And I was like, sometimes I don't know, like if people always see that, but I really appreciate you taking time to haul down to the slums to do my podcast in person.
so is that driven in part by the fact that I put tequila in the cups?
Yes, I'm
I
happy.
found interviews are much better if you're slightly rocked.
So we were gonna serve scotch, and then at the last time I was like, no, it'll look unprofessional if I'm very lightweight drunk, and if I drink and get drunk, this would be viral in 6 seconds for all the wrong reasons.
All right, have
And
you ever done Daily Wire's like late night thing?
no.
All right, so I guess they call it backstage. I've done it a couple of times, and you sit there and drink scotch and smoke cigars, and basically
But how do you like control it? Like you just keep
well,
it
you don't
measured?
get hammered.
Yeah.
You drink one scotch
That's
and
hard
not
for
four.
me. I would drink four. I was talking to your co-host, Ben Ferguson. I understand you now have taken to abusing him and you actually broke his finger.
I did.
Is that correct?
Look, Ben is a big boy. And he was a Division I varsity athlete. I was a college debater. So I got to say it's I really feel bad for Ben that he has to admit that I broke his finger. Now we played hoops and he is a much better athlete than I am, but
Is he?
oh yeah. At least at tennis he is.
Okay.
I mean he's a real tennis player.
He is, and his son's like an amazing golfer, but it made me laugh that you broke his finger.
His son is the number 2 golfer in the world among 7-year-olds. Like it is crazy.
I know, it's really weird.
Yeah.
It's intense. Like it's amazing.
Yeah, no, and Ben on the tennis court, like he can really
He was like
play.
a champion tennis player though.
Yeah, like he played at Ole Miss, and like a bunch of his buddies are professional tennis players.
Yeah.
So but yeah, we played hoops. What was it? Oh, probably 2 months ago, and I play basketball twice a week, and our games are more violent than skilled. And sadly, Ben, I did not actually break his finger. Someone else in the game who did, but he broke his pinky, which I told him a pinky doesn't even count. I mean, that's barely a real finger.
Yeah, and also stop bitching about it, Ben. This weekend, I went to a White House Correspondents' Dinner party. The White House Correspondents' Dinner is very controversial because some people love it, some people love to hate it. We were gossiping about the dinner beforehand. I wanted to ask you, have you ever gone? And if you have,
Do you have any juicy stories you could possibly share with me about it?
So I may have gone to the correspondence dinner once. I've been to the Gridiron several times in Alfalfa.
Those are the prestigious ones. Those are the fancy ones where you have to be a senator to be invited to.
It's look, they're all kind of it's an odd and fun tradition where you get together and try to be funny and make fun of yourself. And listen, you can appreciate. I mean, I'm sure your dad spoke at those events. I mean, how was?
Yes, I think so.
And was it stressful for him? Do you remember it being?
He just hated putting on tuxes, and he hated anything like that. So, I think what's weird about it right now is there's some publications that don't want to come. Colin Jost, the comedian, didn't really roast President Biden because now
it was pretty lame.
Yeah, why? So the question I would ask you is, why is it switched that people feel like they can't even roast the president? It's like he's just so precious that it's going to set the wrong tone. I think that's my problem.
It's one word. It's Trump. Mm-hmm. Trump broke the media and he broke Hollywood. Mm-hmm. They hate his guts, and the problem is their minds have melted. And so from their perspective, the media doesn't actually try to report. Look, you have lived in that world a long time. They don't try to be fair and balanced. They've convinced themselves that Donald Trump is Adolf Hitler. Mm-hmm. And because he's Hitler in their mind, everything is justified. And so they're there to resist. And so Jost, look, Saturday Night Live, they don't make fun of Joe Biden very much. And there's a lot to make fun of. And every episode, look, late night comedy. I love to laugh. I love humor. I love cutting up. I love jokes. I think back. So I've been in the Senate 12 years. When I first got here, it was a regular part of being in the Senate, doing the late night shows. And I mean, so I've done a bunch of them. I've done Leno, and I've done Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon and Stephen Colbert.
But you and Jimmy Kimmel have a love-hate relationship, right?
Little less love, little more hate, but yeah.
You did a basketball tournament and you beat him and he was pissed, right?
That is, and he, I do kind of live, I think, rent-free in his brain ever since then.
He does talk about you a bit.
My last book, Unwoke, he had an entire gig on his show where he hired a drag queen to read my book Unwoke to 5-year-olds.
Oh my God.
And it was a little bizarre. And I mean, I kind of laughed at it. And unsurprisingly, the 5-year-olds weren't very into my book because it wasn't really targeted at the kindergarten demographic.
Were they running around?
Yeah, they were kind of bored because it was not, didn't have that many pictures. And so, yeah, the basketball game, it's kind of bizarre how it happened. Have I told you the story of how it came to pass? Mm-hmm. All right. So I am a diehard Houston Rockets fan. Like I grew up, I love the Rockets. In 2018, the Western Conference Finals, it was the Rockets against Golden State. And Game 5, we won. We were up 3-2, and Chris Paul sadly hurt his quad. We lost the next 2 games, and so we lost in Game 7, and Golden State went on. The next day, Jimmy Kimmel goes on TV, begins making fun of the Rockets. And he says the reason they lost is because Cruz was there. And I was courtside at Game 7, cheering them on, and we lost. And Kimmel just begins mocking me and saying I cursed them. And I got ticked off. Mm-hmm. And so I pulled out my phone and I sent a tweet. I said, okay, big guy, you talk a good game. Let's settle it man-to-man, one-on-one hoops. The loser gives 10 grand to the non-political charity, the winner's choice. Nice. And within a few minutes, he begins tweeting back at me. In fact, he sends this horrible picture of basketball players in really short shorts. Remember the 80s?
Yes.
It was and so we're going back and forth. It's about 12:30 at night, and I'm in my bedroom. Heidi is in bed, and she's going, Ted, come to bed. What are you doing? I'm like, no, I'm in a Twitter fight with Jimmy Kimmel. I can't.
God.
So I'm sitting there with the lights out on my phone tweeting.
My husband has been in a Twitter fight with Seth Meyers in the middle of the night that caused drama, so I appreciate
So you understand this? Well, the long and short of it is Kimmel said yes. And so he came to Houston, did it, I think, the next week. And we did it at TSU.
What was it like? Was he pissed to shake your hand?
He was a complete jerk.
Complete jerk?
Yeah. TSU, Texas Southern University, 6,000 people came out to watch.
That's amazing.
So it was a packed crowd. And I kind of thought I'd done his show before, and he wasn't a jerk. Before the age of Trump, you could go on the shows and they'd be kind of lefties. Your dad's done all those shows. I mean,
I've done some of those shows.
Yeah, they would interact and be fine with it. Trump broke their heads. And so as we're walking out to the game, Kimmel turns to me and goes, prepare to be humiliated.
What?
And he wasn't kidding. I mean, he was deadly serious. And it ended up, I got to tell you, Meghan, it was horrible basketball. It was unspeakably bad.
Did he not know you know how to play?
I don't know if he did or not. And look, I was a mediocre high school player, and I'd say I'm about still a mediocre high school player. So I've maintained those skills. But the mistake we made is there was no penalty for foul. So we actually had an NBA ref there, but if you fouled, the other guy just got the ball back. And so Kimmel and I just beat the living crap out of each other. I mean, it was sumo wrestling. It wasn't basketball.
Were you bruised after?
The next day I walked into the bathroom, Heidi looked at me and she goes, oh my God. I had like literally 50 bruises up and down my torso.
God.
And we were, look, throwing elbows, I mean, just brutalizing each other. The ESPN announcer said, if Dr. Naismith had seen what happened here tonight, he would have invented a different game.
Who is that? Is that who invented basketball? I apologize.
Dr. James Naismith invented basketball. He actually nailed a peach basket to a board, and that became the first basketball hoop.
So when you won, was he even more angry?
Oh, he was furious.
What did he do?
So it ended up we played to 11, and I won 11-9. And when I won, he sets off confetti cannons, and he immediately crowns himself MVP after losing. Mm-hmm. And he had a big trophy. And I went and took the trophy because I won, and he was, I think, planning to keep the trophy even after he lost. And the best moment, so my daughter Catherine was there, and she was, I think she was 8 years old at the time. And Kimmel turns to her and says, so, how does it feel to see your father finally win at something?
Oh my God.
And Catherine looks at him
Oh my God.
with this screw you look. I've never been more proud of my daughter. And it's actually, if you watch what he aired on Kimmel, it ends with the look from Catherine. She doesn't say a word, but that little 8-year-old, I mean, you can appreciate how you would react if someone, if you were 8 and someone said that to your dad. She was on fire, and I actually think Kimmel felt bad.
What an asshole.
Yeah, it really was a jerk thing
to an
do.
8-year-old?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so this is like something that I have definitely bonded, I feel like, with you and Ben Ferguson, your co-host, about this, is that people just treat conservatives completely in a different way, inhumanely post-Trump.
Yep.
It is hard. I am much more like aware of where I go to dinner, what I do, just because I don't want to get screamed at.
Yeah,
and I know the same way. And again, like talking to an 8-year-old that way, I'm actually like horrified by that story, but also like intrigued. Thank you for sharing it. But it's obviously hideous. A child shouldn't be involved. We have completely lost our humanity, I think, when it comes to politics. I wanted to bring this topic in because I know both of us are horrified by it. You went to Harvard, I went to Columbia. Which place is more anti-Semitic? I think mine is winning right now. Which campus is less safe for our Jewish friends and brothers and sisters? Last night, there was like a storming of Columbia. The windows were bashed in. I have been like petrified and confused, and then I just don't know where the hell I'm going to send my kids to college. And then at the same time, this poison and this rot of like celebrating terrorism, celebrating Hamas, which to me, that's what this is.
Absolutely.
And then seeing all these cowards and kefias with their face covered. I don't even know how to process this. Can you just tell me where you're at, how you deal with your alma mater with this, and what are you going to do with your kids for college? Because one thing Ben and I had to talk about recently is our kids are going to be a target in the same way that yours are. There's going to be some progressives on campus, if I were to send my kids to Columbia or Harvard, that are like, that's Meghan McCain and Ben Dominich's kid, and we're going to turn them. And someone would love to do that with your kids too. Not that our kids won't have brains of their own, but that's the kind of thing I now have to think about. Yeah,
look, it is frustrating and terrifying, and every parent I know, particularly with teenagers, is really frustrating. Do you spend $500,000 to send your children to a school to brainwash them to hate America and to hate you? Because that's what these institutions are doing. You watch, these campuses are pouring poison in the brains of young people, and it's all across the country. You know, your alma mater, Columbia, it's truly horrifying. And, you know, it used to be people would say, no, this isn't pro-Hamas, this is pro-Palestinian. Well, that's nonsense. And if you actually look at the chants of what they're chanting on Columbia, they are saying, quote, "We love Hamas." That's a verbatim quote from what they're chanting. You know, there was an image of one Columbia student who was standing there. So there were several Jewish students who were waving Israeli flags and American flags. and this other student was holding a cardboard sign that says Al-Qassam's next target with an arrow towards the Jewish students. Now, Al-Qassam is the military arm of Hamas. And she's literally advocating that terrorists murder her fellow students because they're Jews. And by the way, I don't know this young woman. If the internet is right, she appears to be a young blonde woman who's been identified as a wealthy Southerner.
That's always what it is.
This is like sending your kids to be radicalized. They are, and by the way, the professors are worse than the students. I don't know if you saw the exchange of a UCLA professor who was screaming at this Jewish student at UCLA who was waving an Israeli flag, and she's utterly incoherent. She's not capable of marshaling a rational argument. She's just filled with hate and rage, and she's trembling, and she says, "Why are you here? You're provocative. You're not allowed to be here." And he's like, "I'm showing Jews don't need to be afraid." She's like, "No, you should be with them, rallying for Hamas." And she could, actually, this young student did a very admirable job of smiling and presenting the facts, and she screams, "You're for genocide." He said, "What are you talking about? What does genocide mean?" And she, that this was a professor and she was unable even to live in the realm of reason is really a powerful indication of just how twisted our colleges have become.
Why is it legal? Because isn't it considered hate speech? And where are you going to send your kids to college?
Look, on the second point, I don't know. And it's something Heidi and I struggle with. And listen, our girls are going to decide where they want to go. And so we're, and they're pretty strong-willed kids. Mm-hmm. So I don't know where they want to go. But I worry about it. I worry about just about anywhere you send them. Look, I mean, to give an example of what we deal with now, for the last 3 months, every Saturday morning we've had anti-Israel and pro-Hamas protesters outside our house.
Right? Yeah.
At like 7 a.m., they show up, they're banging cowbells, they're blowing whistles, they're screaming.
Your poor neighbors.
Our neighbors are furious, understandably, like they should be. And by the way, we have lots of neighbors who have little kids, and they're deliberately doing it to wake the children up, to harass the kids, to harass the families. They've done it week after week after week. They've started doing it Friday night. So this last Friday night, they were there till 11 o'clock at night. We had a neighbor who's a young mom who has little kids, went out to the police officer, said, "Isn't there something you can do? It's 11 o'clock at night." The protesters began screaming and cursing, calling her an effing bitch. Like at the top of their lungs. They ended up, for the first time, they ended up arresting some of the protesters because they were so harassing of the neighbors. But this is, look, it is nasty, it is hateful, and I'll tell you, Meghan, one of the things that's infuriating, this isn't organic. Somebody's paying for this. These people, it's the same 12 to 15 people that show up every Saturday, like clockwork at 7 a.m. It's a job. Mm-hmm. And there's somebody bankrolling this, and that same somebody is bankrupting the country and bankrolling these protests at many of the colleges. I'm sure you've noticed the tents are all identical.
Mm-hmm. And expensive, from my understanding.
That they are expensive. We've laid out, I mean, we've talked about before, I do a podcast every week, 3 days a week, Verdict with Ted Cruz. Y'all should subscribe, go listen to it. But our latest podcast on Monday is Follow the Money. Where is the money coming from? And the short answer is most of it's coming from George Soros. And Soros's organization, Soros and the Rockefeller brothers, are paying people to organize these events.
Isn't he Jewish?
He is, and I don't have a good explanation.
Okay, Miranda, we are so excited for this advertising partnership. Honey Love, which is a shapewear bra company. I personally love the bras that I was sent. They're very comfortable. I hate an uncomfortable shapewear. I hate uncomfortable bras. I'm too old and I have too much to do during the day to be uncomfortable all day. We are in obviously holiday season. People are going to want to look good, have nice shapewear and bras underneath their holiday party dresses and their holiday looks. Honey Love is fantastic because It is comfortable. It makes you feel confident, and it's just easy shapewear. And like we have talked about in the past, I don't really wear Spanx anymore because it feels like I'm wearing scuba gear and it's hot and it's too tight and they
Yes.
roll down. Honestly, when I'm walking during the day, they roll down, which doesn't happen with Honey Love because
Because
you've
they've
worn the
got
shape.
this fabulous boning in the shapewear. You can see it. See how it's bending like this? So as a woman, women will understand this. If you've ever worn shapewear, you don't have to do that awkward thing where you're just like trying to like
Yeah.
sneakily fix your shapewear in public, or you're like pulling down the shorts part of it because it's all rolled up to your hips. Oh my God, it's so embarrassing. So you don't have to worry about that with this because it's gonna sit, it's gonna fit, it's gonna be natural, and you're gonna be smooth. No lumps, no bumps. Everything's going to be just gorgeous and comfortable. And they don't just have shapewear. They've got pajamas. They've got tops. They've got tops that shapewear that looks like tops. So it doesn't even look like you're wearing shapewear.
Love that. Yeah.
Cannot get enough of stuff like that. I wore that to a concert recently. I wore a shapewear tank top and I was so comfortable the whole day and I wasn't worried about like sucking in my stomach. So
Yeah.
recommend. Honey
Love it.
Love, love it.
And you can gift Honey Love obviously to yourself or to someone that you love because nothing says holidays like support, comfort, and confidence. They also have undie bundles, one of my personal favorite gifts to get, by the way.
Great
And they make
stocking
the perfect
stuffer.
stocking stuffer. Yes, and they're just I love an undie. I don't know why. I love an undie bundle because it just takes it's like fun. I always forget to buy
And
it
it's
underwear.
less laundry. If you got more undies, you got to do less laundry. So I love it.
Totally.
Anything to save me some time.
Also, Honey Love is an independent female-founded brand. We love supporting our female founders, and all Honey Love products are intelligently designed by women who actually wear their clothes. And because we're coming up on Black Friday, we have a promo code for you. Treat yourself or someone you love to Honey Love this holiday season, and right now you can save 20%. That's a big discount at honeylove.com/McCain. Just use our exclusive link, honeylove.com/McCain, to grab your discount. And after you order, they'll ask you where you heard about Honey Love. So please support our show and let them know that we here at Citizen McCain sent you. Celebrate the season feeling confident and comfortable with Honey Love. Honeylove.com/McCain. 20% is a good discount. It's a big discount for you guys. Handing out that holiday season Honey Love discount. Go pick up your bras, shapewear, leggings, tank tops, whatever you need, or undie bundles. Like I said, my personal favorite. And thank you again for our partners at Honey Love. We're very excited to be partnered with you, and we love your products.
Love it.
We both have 2 daughters. Hashtag girl dad. Ben loves doing that.
Spectacular.
Female voters are a deficit in the Republican Party right now. President Biden won 54% of the vote among suburban women in 2020. These kind of data points concern me. What do you think the problem is?
Well, look, I think we need to do a much better job reaching out to women, but it's worth breaking it down. If you break voters down into 4 categories, Republicans are winning with single men, with married men, and with married women. The demographic that Republicans are getting killed with is single women. And so if you look at women, I do think you got to break it down between single and married women. There's something about getting married, having a family, starting to have kids, that voters start to become more conservative. They start to think about, hey, I want to protect my kids. Hey, I want to keep my family safe. They start paying taxes. We are getting absolutely decimated with single women. Now, the sort of easy reflex to say is, oh, that's all abortion. I will point out that that was true before the Dobbs decision. So the Democrats had a massive advantage with single women long before Roe versus Wade was front and center at the level it is now. And so, look, I don't know. I'd be interested in your thoughts as to why that is.
I don't really understand it. I think the messaging is off, and I think that Democrats do a really good job of painting all conservatives out to somehow be anti-woman. But when someone asked me about women's issues, I think the economy and terrorism and everything is a woman's issue. It's not just abortion. But it concerns me, and I don't totally understand it. But I do want to move on to some fun questions, if you don't mind. Yeah. Okay, so Ben and I are obsessed with this. There's a comedian named Tom Segura who does a stand-up special. I don't know if you know this. And he tells a story that's allegedly about you.
Yeah, it's complete fiction. It's utterly made up. I've never met the guy. I've sadly watched it on Twitter. It is twisted and deranged, and it's complete fiction, which of course means every lefty believes it's true because it's horrible about me, and he just made it up and got some laughs from lefties who hate me.
Okay, I didn't think it sounded like you.
Thanks.
One of the conspiracy theories that we're obsessed with on the show is whether or not Joe Biden is going to step down from the convention this summer and put Gretchen Whitmer or, I don't know, like someone else in his place. Do you think that's a possibility?
I think it's a very real possibility.
You do?
I do. I think it is at least 50-50, if not more.
Shut up, why? Everyone says no. You're the first person to say yes. Thank you.
And I've been talking about this for almost a year.
Okay.
Look, number one, Biden is clearly senile. He is not up. All right, 3.5 years that he's been president. You know how many times I've spoken to him?
No.
0. Not a single time. Now, you might say, okay, Cruz, you're a right-winger. That's fine. We sit around at lunch, all the Republican senators. None of us have spoken to him. That is weird. Like that's an important part of the job. When Obama was president, I spoke to him regularly. When Trump was president, I spoke to him every week, sometimes every day. They literally keep Biden hidden in the basement. They don't let him talk to us. And it's particularly strange because we all know Joe. I mean, look, he was a man of the Senate for 40 years. He swore me in when I was first elected. He was vice president.
Who do you think it would be?
What terrifies me, and I think the person most likely, is Michelle Obama.
You believe it?
I do. And here's why. So the Democrats have a problem. If they get rid of Joe Biden, the successor is Kamala Harris. I think they recognize Kamala as a terrible candidate. They don't want Kamala to be the successor. So you get people saying, well, Gavin Newsom. I think the chances of that are 0.0%. Why? Because the Democrats are such bean counters. They are incapable of pushing aside an African-American woman and replacing her with a white guy. I think their party would spontaneously combust if they tried to do that. So they're trapped. And the only person that can come in and trump Kamala is Michelle Obama. And I got to say, look, if I were a Democrat, I would be all in on this theory because I got to say, electorally, that would be dangerous as hell. Mm-hmm. And Michelle Obama, as a former first lady, she has a patina of being nonpartisan. Now, I don't think that's true at all. I think she is a hard ideologue. I think she is hard left. I think she may be further left than Barack. But as for 8 years of first lady, that has a shield. And the danger, if Michelle became the nominee, is she can run away from the last 4 years of Joe Biden. She'd be like, yeah, Joe screwed that all up. But she can hearken back to the halcyon days of when Obama was president. Now, things weren't all that great when Obama was president, but people don't remember that far back.
Vegas bets 50-50? You think it's 50-50?
I think it's 50-50 or even better.
You heard it here
there
first.
are two things that I'm hoping will save us from that outcome. Number one, I think there's a real chance Michelle says no. That she's got a great life. She lives basically like a movie star. She has hundreds of millions of dollars. She's on private jets. She's on yachts. She may just decide, hey, this is pretty fun what I'm doing now. The other thing is, I think there's a chance Joe refuses to go. Like, that scenario only works if Joe bows out gracefully.
Well, this is a good segue into my next question.
Yeah.
You're only 53 years old.
Yeah.
He's 81. What is it going to take to get people in their 80s to stop running for office? And I mean this genuinely. Would you run for president at 81?
No.
Okay.
But the nice thing is, under Biden's schedule, I've got 100 years ahead of me.
Yes.
Look, it is, all right, interesting bit of trivia. Name 3 presidents who were born in the same year.
I know Bill Clinton's one of them, which is fascinating.
And do you know the other 2?
No.
George W. Bush and Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And what's bizarre, that doesn't make sense to everyone because we think of Bill Clinton as young and virile and out jogging and kind of fat and eating Big Macs like he was a president in his 40s. And you think of George W. Bush and he was a president in his 50s and 60s. And then you have Donald Trump, who's kind of, I guess, ageless. What's fascinating, they were all born in 1946, which is the first year of the baby boom. So the World War II ended in 45. The GIs came back and they all had a ton of kids, and they're all the oldest wave of the baby boom. By the way, Mitt Romney was 47, so he's 1 year younger than the 3 of them. And listen, at some point, the boomers are going to move on and the next generation is going to go forward. And my suspicion is...
X?
I'm a Gen X, yeah.
Well, I just wanted to know because it just seems so weird that these octogenarians, and I just have 2 more questions, I promise.
I have heard jokes. Jimmy Carter is 99, and I've heard he's saying, I've still got it in me. Let's go.
He's been on hospice for so long. God bless him.
He is the oldest former president in history.
It's unbelievable. I mean, seriously, God bless him. I cannot believe how old he is and how he's doing.
He was a terrible president, but by all indication, he's a very decent man. And
yes, everybody says that. One of the things that we talked about that's really hard is how I've had this experience where I had someone who worked with me on a show and did like an entire Facebook post that was like really awful about me, that was all lies and all untrue. One of the things that they said was that I ate the Cheesecake Factory all the time, which I still don't really know how that's like a slam or whatever.
My dad loves the Cheesecake Factory.
I do too.
We
eat it all the time, but thank you. One of the things people always ask me about is, do you have any response to your old college roommate tweeting crap about you all the time? Because for me, that would be very hurtful. And you don't have to answer it if you don't want. It's just one of the things people wanted to know.
So look, this was a guy who I was randomly assigned with freshman year. And he was a very liberal kid from New Jersey. And the instant we met, he decided he hated my guts. And he was horrible. Like, I was really excited at like going to high school, leaving high school, going to college. I was hoping that my college roommate would be my best friend. Mm-hmm. And from the day I met him, he was contemptuous, he was rude, and I haven't spoken to him in over 30 years. And so he's now a screenwriter. He's actually had some success in Hollywood. And, Andy Warhol said everyone gets their 15 minutes of fame. So he likes to go on and make up lies about me and attack me. And he knock yourself out. I don't care about the guy at all. I will say I ended up getting what I wanted, not with my freshman year roommate, but my sophomore year roommate, and became my roommate all the way through college and all the way through law school. Is a guy named David Panton, who is from Jamaica, was best man at my wedding, and is my best friend on earth other than Heidi. I don't worry about my freshman year roommate, but I'm glad he enjoys jumping out on.
You live rent free in his head.
Yeah, he and Jimmy Kimmel. I wonder if they kind of get together.
They should get together in LA and get dinner and just talk about you for hours.
Yeah,
I think that's what they should do.
I mean, when he was 17, he told prurient jokes, and he was kind of obnoxious. And he actually has written a lot of movies that are filled. Like, he wrote Hangover 2, which, if you've seen it, is filled with a lot of junior high jokes, and that seems to be kind of steady who he's been.
My last question for you is just, you're running for re-election right now. I know better than anybody, it's really tough to be away from your
By the way,
family.
I will say, going back to him for one second,
sure.
I will make an apology, which I actually, one of the books I wrote, I sort of retroactively apologized, which is when I showed up at age 17, I would have my alarm and I would snooze over and over and over again. And I get how that would be really obnoxious.
I do that too.
And so he confessed on Twitter that he super glued my snooze button down. I actually think that's funny as hell.
God.
And I didn't realize it at the time, but I did apologize as a 17-year-old, it's probably bad to snooze a lot.
I kind of feel weird asking you about it, but again, it's one of these things that's like
right.
in the zeitgeist so much. And I know what it feels like though, because like I said, I had a similar thing happen to me and I was like, you don't know me at all. You never talk to me. You don't really know me. And even people that I had, like, there's someone who apparently I had a high school class with, same thing, always messaging me. She was the worst and this is again, 20 something years ago.
So there's a very funny exchange. So I went a number of years back to my 25th college reunion, and he was there and Heidi was there. And I didn't speak with him. I had nothing to say to him.
Did Heidi know?
But Heidi spoke with him.
Oh.
And they had an exchange, which he actually did sort of a tweet thread about, where Heidi was kind of going after him a little bit. And he was like trying to get in her face, and it was not working. She was not at all dismayed by this, and his complaint.
What is with people getting in the women and your girls in your lives' face if they have a problem?
But one of his complaints is he said I was messy as a college kid, and Heidi said, and were you messy? And he said he was kind of speechless and didn't have a response to that. But it was like, yeah, I will plead guilty to, as a college kid, not being the cleanest of souls and leaving, pizza boxes and dirty clothes around. And I suspect I'm not the only college kid guilty of that.
Ben is messy now.
Yeah.
Like now, I can't get him to, no offense, clean up his freaking laundry I've been married. He will not clean his shit up.
All right. So
Sorry.
D.C., I have a little apartment in D.C. and then our home is in Houston. And in Houston, I have to have some modicum of being clean because I have a wife and daughters and Heidi will throw me out of the house. But our D.C. apartment, I'm basically a bachelor, and I just sleep there. But I will admit, it looks kind of like a college kid's dorm room. Like
my dad's place here was the same way, and I remember going one time, and all he had in his fridge was old cheese sandwiches and Miracle Whip in his house. And I was like, "You're a grown man, like you're a senator. Fill your fridge with stuff." So I am well aware of that.
I don't have cheese sandwiches or Miracle Whip. I think I
disgusting.
have like 2 beers and some sort of rotten pad thai that needs to be thrown away. I think that's the sum total of my fridge right now.
That sounds right. My dad's place was disgusting. Whatever that's where it was like so gross. And his bedding, I remember, was like really old. Anyway, I do. It was like old, like from the 70s.
My
It was
sheets
like,
are ripped. I had a buddy of mine.
Change that.
A high school buddy of mine. He and his wife and daughter came to like spend a weekend in D.C. and so they stayed at my apartment here, and it was very funny. My friend Joel left a Post-it by my nightstand and said, "Dear Ted, this is your sheets. It's time to part with us. We are gone. We
throw
are
them
dead.
out?
Let us go." So I left the Post-it there, and I still have the same ratty sheets with holes on them.
You should get new sheets.
Yeah, I know. So when Heidi comes to town, I literally do have to like call a cleaning lady and clean the place because she's a little horrified about it. And so I make it's spotless when Heidi comes to town, and then when she leaves, it's not
I think
spotless
this is
anymore.
a thing. Because if my dad did it and you did it, it's like definitely a thing.
Yeah, look, guys are,
Yeah, you're pigs. No
yeah,
offense.
I don't disagree.
Ben always says that women are the ones that civilize men.
Undoubtedly.
Like, no offense, you would have no sheets and like beer and that's it.
Humanity would have disappeared. I mean, aside from the biological point, just we would have either killed each other or sat like slobs and just like faded from existence without. Look, almost everything men do in life is to impress women. That is the only motivation men are aware of, and that's look. You know, God knew what he was doing putting that motivation in. It makes you get up in the morning and say, all right, I got to do better.
Is that what you do every morning? Like for Heidi, you're just like, I got to do better for my wife. And
Look, you know Heidi. She's,
she's smart,
beautiful and amazing and a rock star. And, I got to do what I can to make her think, make her not think, what kind of catastrophic mistake did I make? My favorite toast is God bless nearsighted women.
God, like, so they don't see that you're ugly?
Yeah, yeah.
You're not, like, I'm not toasting to that. It's ridiculous. My final question for
And
you,
Ben's a good-looking man, by the way.
He is, but he's lucky to have me, Senator.
Hear, hear.
Okay? Because I civilize him too. And the first time I went to his house in D.C., it was disgusting.
I believe you.
He had mushrooms in his fridge that had mold growing on them. A grown man who's like 35 when it's disgusting. Thank you very much, Senator. Men are disgusting. No,
I have no ability to argue against that.
I feel bad. This is not going to help you with your male voters with me saying men are disgusting and you saying yes.
Look, I basically think men are dogs and women are cats.
Okay.
And it's like dogs are sort of simple and uncomplicated, and cats are more complicated.
We are so excited for our next advertiser. You know it, we know it. Cozy Earth is one of the most wonderful and fantastic companies out there. I was sent this bedding and sheets from Cozy Earth. This is not exaggerating, and not just because they are partners with us. It's the greatest sheets I've ever slept in. Buy these sheets. They're fantastic. They are like so soft. It's like they kind of feel like not satiny, that's the wrong word, but it's like they're way softer than the cotton ones that I previously had. And they're just, I don't know, they're just wonderful. And I'm so pregnant and I just want to be in bed in wonderful sheets, and it's fantastic. And they also sent me some wonderful pajamas that are very, they're like this like nice thick cotton that you can just like those kind of pajamas that you can wear not only in bed but you feel comfortable like wearing out around the house because they're so nice, like they look so nice. And also I love the body butter and the candles that they sent me as well. Really beautiful. I love a body butter, and it's great obviously for the holiday season. I hate Christmas shopping. I hate trying to figure out what to buy for Christmas shopping, and Cozy Earth is going to make everything much simpler for you. And I know you love Cozy Earth too, Miranda.
I love Cozy Earth. Okay, so have you ever stayed in a hotel where they have those like big fluffy robes that you just want to wear all day, just like take a nap in? They have those, and they are so comfortable. It's like sleeping in a giant down pillow or something, or down blanket. It's like you want to just like live your whole life in it. It's the best. So they have those. They've got them in stripes. They've got them in solids. Any kind of like whatever. You'll feel like Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone 2 in that. It's the best. So I recommend that. Get the bath sheets. They are so soft. You get out of the shower and you just wrap up in that. It's awesome. The sheets, like you said, every wash they get softer and softer. I cannot recommend them enough. And Cozy Earth. Thank you so much. They've got stuff for kids. They've got like stuff for kids' beds. So it's not just for grown-ups. If you want your kids to sleep in luxury and spoil them and make them have the best sheets of their life, get it, Cozy Earth. And they have a huge sale for Black Friday. And I think we have promo codes.
I'm glad you brought that up because we have a promo code for Black Friday. We have one right now. So Black Friday has come early at Cozy Earth, and I love Black Friday. I love Black Friday sales. I'm going to get in on this myself, even though it's my own personal promo code. Right now, you can stack my code McCain on top of their site-wide sale, giving you up to 40% off in savings. These deals are not going to last, so start your holiday shopping today. And if you get a post-purchase survey, be sure to mention that you heard about Cozy Earth right here at Citizen McCain. Yes. And thank you again to our partnership at Cozy Earth, and thank you for the wonderful sheets. They're really my favorite sheets. Like, I'm going to send them to my mom. I mean, my mom. Sorry, Mom. Spoiler, you're getting some sheets. You're getting Cozy Earth sheets.
Don't listen to this.
Yes. But because she's like a total snob about the kind of sheets she likes. And I'm going to send those to her and the body butter for Christmas. So that's what Cindy McCain's getting for Christmas. Thank you again.
Body butter would be a good stocking stuffer, by the way. I think that's a good one to get for anybody.
It smells like you're at a spa. I don't remember the label on it, but it just smells like you just got a spa treatment. So thank you guys so much, and get in on the Black Friday sale.
Love it. Happy Thanksgiving.
Final thing, you're running for re-election right now. How is it being away from the family? How is it campaigning? Do you include them? How is it with the girls? I used to travel with my dad. Do that actually?
Did you like the campaign trail?
I loved it, but I think I was like a freak. And I also told a story earlier on my last podcast that I made my dad take me to the correspondence dinner because a guy had broken up with me via text, and I needed to make the guy jealous, being like, "Look, I'm on a red carpet with my dad." Do your girls ever like want? Because there are perks to also having like a senator for a dad too. Do you ever like do anything to bring them or anything?
So look, there are some things. I mean, my girls were 2 and 4 when I was first elected, so they've lived with it. I'll say the presidential in 2016, both girls went on the campaign trail with us, and they were 7 and 9 at the time, and so we went. They've been to all 50 states. They've been to all the presidential debates. They would sit. Actually, half the debates they would sit in Melania's lap while we were doing them. And actually, I had a secret that when we took a commercial break, I'd walk down from stage and the girls would jump up and give me a hug, and it was really an unfair advantage where you got like a double hug from 2 little girls, and it was like Popeye taking spinach. It like rejuvenated you. You know, Caroline, my eldest daughter, was in all the debate prep sessions. She would lay under the table while we were talking through and getting ready for debate prep. Did you do that?
Yeah.
I mean,
what are you gonna do if she wants to do this and like wants to be in politics?
Look, I think she'd be phenomenal if she wants to do this. Neither of the girls are very into politics, and so it's kind of, you know, they're 13 and 16, and they're both. I think they've had enough of it. If they decide to do it, great. But I try to protect them and keep them out. So they don't really do the campaign trail now. I mean, look, they're teenagers. They're living their lives.
Yeah.
And I want them to have the freedom to live their lives and make their own determinations. And you know, in some respects, they have different political views than I do. And I don't, you know,
that's normal.
Yeah,
I did too.
That's part of growing up. But look, the worst part of politics is the pressure it puts on your family.
Yeah.
And it's. Look, this is something you understand really well, but it's not fair. I chose to do this. I worked really hard. This has been my dream since I was a child. You know, my daughters had no choice in the matter. This is something that Heidi and I did to them.
I feel very protective of your girls in the way that I do a lot of other famous politicians, because even just anyone, like in any way, talking about you having kids in any way, I get really riled about it. And I think that you guys are doing an incredible job. And I think if social media were around when I was younger, I think I would have had a very, very difficult time navigating it. And it's really unfair.
You know, look, it's not fair for a teenager when you go in and the first thing they know is whose kid you are. That's a whole lot of history and baggage and all sorts of things.
That part is hard.
Everyone wants to be themselves and create their own identity.
When I was a teenager, though, and maybe you can use a version of this, when I went to my first prom, I was really excited. And my dad told my prom date that if anything happened to me, it would in no way compare to the damage that was done to his body at the Hanoi Hilton. And let me tell you, I was home at 11. Nothing
awesome.
happened. Scared the living shit of that poor guy. I never saw him again. So there are things that can be, and he did that on purpose.
So I don't know if you ever did this, but one of my daughters at summer camp, she decided, she was with a bunch of kind of lefty kids, and she said, all right, I'll tell you what, we can call my dad for $20. And she charged him $20 to call my cell phone. And it was kind of, I was sort of impressed that she was being a capitalist. They were actually fine. I mean, they were, teenagers, so they were fairly mild.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, I really wish you all the best. Thank you so much for being such a good sport with some of these questions. I'm just such a fan of yours, and I wish you all the best of luck. And then on election night, I am really looking forward to celebrating you kicking another person. I hate Beto O'Rourke, I think, more than you, and I'm really happy you're at least not running against him again. You don't have to say anything. I don't.
Yeah, I actually don't hate the guy.
I do.
I don't know him very well.
He's a moron. It's okay.
I will say when he launched his campaign, the AP said part of his announcement speech was in his native tongue.
Oh my God.
And
what does that mean?
I couldn't help but tweeting, really, I've never seen a political speech in Gaelic.
Oh my God.
Because, look, his name is Robert Francis O'Rourke.
Did he pretend to be Hispanic?
Of course, he pretended to be Hispanic. He would go by Beto.
Yeah.
Which is the Hispanic pronunciation. I call him Beto because I'm sorry, it's
too.
just I'm not going to. I didn't do Beto. That was a bit much. I don't know if you've seen, there is a funny meme of him in Louisiana preparing to launch a campaign going, hello, I'm Beto, Beteaux.
Oh my God.
And, just doing the Cajun thing.
When I interviewed him, he had to talk about the fact that he said and I'm paraphrasing, he'd never changed a diaper, taking care of his kids because that was the wife's job. And you can imagine how that went over with the female audience at the View that I was in front of.
I've changed a lot of diapers. I'm not very good at it, but I have changed a lot of diapers.
Ben changes diapers all the time. It's not emasculating, but he had no good answer for it. And he was and I was like, this guy's an
All right,
idiot.
you know what dads are good at least I found, was swaddling.
Ben is very good at swaddling.
Swaddling, with new parents. I actually tell dads, I'm Heidi was too gentle. And I think with babies with swaddling, they want to be squeezed in like the womb. And I could swaddle the girls. I would rock them and play Pavarotti late at night and try to rock them to sleep. And if you swaddle them well, that's my advice to dads is learn to swaddle.
He played Pavarotti.
Yeah, for some reason it was really calming to them.
I love that.
Yeah.
I don't remember what Ben did, but it's not as highbrow as that. It's probably something dumb.
I don't listen to Pavarotti normally, but for some reason I had a CD and I was like, all right, maybe this will work, and it kind of did.
I love that. That's really sweet. Anything else you want to say before we say goodbye? Say goodbye to the internet, say goodbye to TV?
Look, I will say one thing that you will be amused. Your old show, The View, did I tell you they wouldn't have me on again?
Yeah, but I think they're scared of you because if I remember, first of all, did you know that you told the world I was having a baby? Came on, yes, I couldn't.
Did I really?
It's funny. We always
okay. All right, I'm horrified.
You went on The View when I was out, and it was right at the end of my pregnancy, and you said to the team and backstage when I hadn't told anyone, they were like, "Is she still in labor?" Because Ben had told you, and we were like, "Senator Cruz told everybody we're having a baby."
Oh,
but it's
all right. I apologize.
But I remember when you went on, you really schooled them. So they don't like being challenged. They don't like people who are smarter than them. Look what just happened with Coleman Hughes. If you're an intellectual who can debate them, they're not going to want to do it. But it is such a miss because if you're a guest on the show, it will get attention for both of you and it will be an interesting conversation, but they're scared of you.
The two of the most recent books I went on for both of them, and I guess they decided it didn't go well for them because my most recent book, we reached out and said, hey, I would love to go back on The View, and they're like, nope, and it's not scheduling, we don't want you. You know who also wouldn't have me?
Who?
Jen Psaki.
What?
We called Jen Psaki and said, hey, I would love to go on, do it in person, talk about the book. And they're like, no, thank you.
Why is Jen Psaki scared of you?
I don't know, but I've never done her show. I offered to do it. I assumed there'd be fireworks, and they just said, no, thank you. We'd prefer not.
On The View, they ask the hosts if they're comfortable, if it's like a high-profile guest like you. So my guess is they went around, and Joy and Sunny and Whoopi were like, no, he's too smart. He'll make us look good or look bad. I don't know, but that actually bums me out. Would you ever go back on Jimmy Kimmel?
Oh yeah.
He should invite you.
All right, you know what I did recently that was really fun? Have you done Bill Maher?
No, I'm scared of Bill Maher.
So I'd never done Bill Maher. I didn't know him, and it was I really enjoyed doing that show. And look, he's an old school liberal, which means he believes in things like free speech. And I told him, look, I retweet and I push out his monologues all the time because he engages in some modicum of sanity. And so I disagree with him on a bunch of issues. But I said, look, you actually have a show where you have right and left talking to each other. Mm-hmm. Most of the media doesn't do that.
That show really is very intense. I went on that show once when I was like 23, and it was such a disaster. They used a clip of it to hype up the crowd. And I'm almost 40, so like do the math, but that's a good show for you. But I'm glad you went on that. But I do think you should go. If The View or Jen Psaki should have you, it is a better.
So none of the late night shows have Republicans on anymore.
Never.
So it used to be part of, and Trump broke the media, and one of the consequences is the late night shows, none of them. They would routinely have Republicans on. Your dad's been on them a gazillion times.
I went on a bunch of them.
Yeah,
but
they don't do it anymore.
I went on Seth Meyers and had such a disastrous experience. It was like actually like a little traumatizing. So I won't go on them because I don't want to be the token conservative woman getting the crap beat out of them. Like it's just not interested in me. Your staff's going to have an aneurysm unless I rap right now. I can tell. Yes. Thank you so much, Senator.
Thank you.
Seriously, I really, really appreciate it. I know you're kind of slumming it coming downtown to my studio and everything.
Hey, this is awesome. Hey.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate everything you're doing. It's important, and you're talking to an audience that needs to be part of it.
I'm sorry. If I don't ask this, I'm going to get in so much trouble. Did you know D.C. is starting its own barbecue, and they're trying to compete with Texas barbecue? What do you say?
Bring it on. like that's just. I'm actually there's a phrase pobrecito, poor baby. I'm sorry,
pathetic.
DC's not capable of
They're
doing
really
that.
trying. It's pretty pathetic.
Have you ever had DC Mexican food?
Yeah, it's disgusting.
It's not recognizable.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
They don't even have refried beans. It's always pinto. And I'm like, freaking refried. Anyway, thank you very much, Senator. You have more important things to do. You can learn more about Senator Ted Cruz. Oh, very easy at tedcruz.org.
There you go, tedcruz.org. And I am in the middle of a campaign, so if you want to go and contribute, you want to sign up, I need the help.
And you have very good social media very good Twitter, because he actually runs his own. It's very funny.
Yeah, so I've got a team that does social media, and so they do have the keys to the car. And if you see a tweet that's kind of up the fairway, if it's something like illegal immigration is bad, that's probably my team sending it. Mm-hmm. If you see a tweet that is a little edgy, that is a smart-ass tweet, that is 100% me on my phone, and my staff doesn't know it, and we'll often hear screams from them because I like being a smart-ass.
Please keep doing it. It's really entertaining. I really
it
enjoy
makes
it.
You look
Probably
laughter,
making her go crazy, but I really enjoy it. Your staff's right here.
And laughter is really important. Like
Yes.
if you're going to survive in the world of politics where it's ugly, and the left is so mean and bitter that I actually find laughter solves everything. You got to be able to laugh at yourself. If someone comes up with a funny joke about me, I enjoy it. If it's just someone screams F you, it's like, oh my, you're very clever. Mm-hmm. But if someone has something funny, look, I remember when my first year in the Senate, there was sadly a guy who threatened to kidnap and murder both me and my father.
Oh my God.
And to blow up the sun unless we gave him $3 million. And this was a person with some serious mental issues. And someone on Twitter tweeted out, said, look, I don't really care what they do to Cruz, but this blowing up the sun thing sounds serious.
God.
And I cracked up. I actually read that to my team. I'm like, all right, that's funny. Like that would be a problem.
It's really dark, but I guess people send the craziest shit all the time. And they asked if you were the Zodiac killer, and I was like, funny enough, I asked him last time, and he did all that before the center was born. Like, so it's not even possible.
By the way, I will say, all right, funny Jimmy Kimmel story, two backstories, and I just want to really torture my train.
Trent's going to jump in his car and quit his job.
So bizarrely enough, as we're preparing for the one-on-one game with Jimmy Kimmel, and there were several calls between my team and his producers, and I think one of his producers, oddly enough, butt dialed my chief of staff. Because he gets a call, and they don't seem to know he's on the phone, and they're talking about the show. Uh-huh. And he hears one of the jokes they have planned is they start with they play the American anthem. And then immediately after that, they play the Canadian anthem, because I was born in Calgary. And so that was their clever joke. And so he heard it and was like, okay, they're going to play the Canadian anthem. So when they did that, we had prepped. I reached back and I had a Molson beer and a hockey stick. So I just started drinking the Molson beer with a hockey stick. And they were so pissed.
They're pissed.
They didn't air it. So like the scene, because I had a response for their joke, they just said, we're not going to show it. And I will say on the Zodiac thing, so there's an orange towel I use that I like wipe my face, a sweat towel, that has all the Zodiac symbols on it. And nobody noticed. It was infuriating because I thought that was a really subtle joke that we just nobody picked up
You
on
really
it.
lean into it. It's really funny. I remember the first time you tweeted something about it. I was like, this is so good. It's so funny that he like even knows that people say that.
Oh, yeah.
It's the weirdest conspiracy theory, but yeah, not true. Thank you so much. Like
Look, if I did have the power of time travel, I'm not sure going back to commit mass murder would be the first thing I'd do.
I don't even know how the whole thing started. And I don't know enough about the Zodiac killer, but
There was a real poll in Florida that showed 28% of Floridians believed I could be the Zodiac killer.
what?
Florida's a strange place.
Yeah.
So I can't speak to the veracity of that poll.
I am not moving to Florida. You know that Ben and I have been considering moving to Texas for a long time.
Come to Texas.
Florida is so not on. No offense, but it's
Actually,
like
I love
so
Florida,
not.
but it is.
I would rather move to Texas. It's okay.
Here.
I like Florida too, and I like what they're doing, and I like DeSantis. Don't come for me. But anyway, okay, you have to go. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks for watching Citizen McCain.